Well, hello there. Welcome to the Breaking Barriers interview series, another exceptional interview segment. And we have today Miss Elizabeth Krupa, and she is an amazing attorney here to share her insights with us from the legal industry. And again, this series is all dedicated to inspiring and empowering upcoming aspiring female executive leaders. We want to encourage our talent pipeline in the areas of resiliency building, emotional intelligence mastery, and of course, overall building of strategic and resilient networks. So I welcome Ms. Elizabeth Krupa today. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. So tell us, Elizabeth, if you can please provide your name and the current position and title that you hold in the organization.
Of course, Elizabeth Krupa. I'm the founder and sole owner of a law firm, which is my name. It's the law office of Elizabeth Espinosa Krupa.
Awesome. And so how long have you been working in the C-suite, or I should say, being the owner of your law firm?
I believe it's almost 15 years now that I've started my own firm.
Wow, that's an extensive bit of experience there. So can you describe for us then the legal industry and the specific challenges it faces in terms of, I would pick one, resilience cultivation, so to speak?
So when I first started practicing law as a young lawyer, I worked at a multinational corporation and didn't really get a lot of support, obviously, in a corporate setting. I left and started doing trial work in the Colorado State Public Defender System, which had really good training, mentors, people that kind of, they put you in groups with people that were in the same position as you. So it really did kind of build those types of relationships. I was also introduced by one of my mentors in that office to the Hispanic Bar Association and the Women's Bar Association, so that I could have people that perhaps had similar interests or similar struggles. The interesting thing was when I was at the public defender's office, I was surrounded by more women and people of color than when I left the public defenders and went to the federal defender system. In the federal system, there was less women, less people of color. And then when I went to work at the Securities and Exchange Commission, there were hardly any women or people of color. And it just got to be a little more interesting. Law is definitely a man's world. There's plenty of women that have done many things to break that glass ceiling kind of thing. A lot of women, including some of the mentees that started their own firms as well, and they're doing really well. So I'm really proud of, the people that have done it. It's scary. It's the scariest thing I've ever done. I'm sorry. I have a new puppy and he's barking for some reason.
Hello, puppy. Welcome to the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, that is wonderful. So, when you look back, what are the if you can think about one or two things that really motivated you to get your own practice and go there, on your own, what would be the top two things then?
Well, the first was really my late husband was diagnosed with cancer. It was a very rare form of cancer. It was in his spinal cord. So he became a quadriplegic. And we had two small kids. So my kids were 7 and 9 when he was diagnosed, and 9 and 11 when he passed. And it was just hard to try to be a single mom for my kids. We lived about an hour away from where my office was at the time. So I was commuting a lot. And this was way before remote work. It was way before people did remote depositions or anything like that. And so I started my own firm really so I could be a mom and be there for my kids. But it was scary. My parents both worked for the city and county of Denver their entire careers, retired after 30 years. I mean, retired at like 55 with full benefits, right? I mean, who does that anymore? And so I just kind of did government jobs because I felt like it was the best way for me not only to get the experience, but also to have some protections and things like that. And so when I left, it was just the most terrifying thing I've ever done. And I don't say that lightly, like, motherhood was scary to me.
Yes.
So I was scared to do it, but once I did it, you learn, right? You learn things you should have done, everything from marketing to naming it, to building it, promoting it, networking it, sponsoring events, things like that. But it really gave me the flexibility to be the mom that I wanted to be. And it gave me the flexibility to get even more involved in some of the organizations and nonprofits, serve on boards and things like that. It allowed me to do a lot more of that, which was a different kind of building of me as a person and as a professional than I could have in a state government office.
Of course, absolutely. Particularly the board opportunities.
Right.
Those, lifetime opportunities. So that's great. And again, I'm sorry to hear about your husband.
Thank you.
So it just shows that how resilient of a person you are.
Well, thank you.
Most difficult circumstance, you're able to rise above and go out there as your own separate entity. And that is not something that people see every day. So I commend you, highly commend you.
Thank you.
So really, if you think about the term resilience, what does resilience mean to you? Since you exhibited so well in your context,
resilience to me is kind of that ability to bounce back or just let things wash over you. It is really hard sometimes to not take things personally or to not feel imposter syndrome or like you're not enough or you didn't do enough or you failed. I'm not sure that women, and specifically women of color, are taught very well to take failure as a learning ability, a learning experience. That 9 times out of 10, you're going to try something and maybe not do it great. You're not going to be an expert at everything. I'm older, so I was not part of the generation that everybody got a ribbon and everybody got an award. Like I was definitely in that, raised in that era that you're a fighter and you're a winner. And I was a little darker when I was younger. So I dealt with a lot of things. Even after I had been practicing for years and I was with the Securities and Exchange Commission, I had a judge in Texas ask me if I had a good command of the English language. And my parents had never taught me Spanish because they suffered so much prejudice from it. They didn't want me to. And so I was kind of shocked. And, the colleagues that I was with and a lot of people that were there were really bothered by that and concerned and wanted me to raise all these issues to everybody. And I was like, I don't think we need to do that. I think, you're better served not overreacting. So I think resilience to me is kind of learning almost boundaries, like how to control your own reaction, how to control how you perceive it and how you let it affect you, because there's just so many things that happen in life that if you can let it kind of wash over you and not let it sink in and hold it kind of thing, the easier it is for you to get past it.
I absolutely agree. 100%.
Sorry, I'm walking down because I think my dog actually needs to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. So
we'll see how this works with me walking outside.
Yes, that's okay. We're very flexible here on the Breaking Barriers interview because we know that we are talking to really busy executives.
This is a whole different kind of busy because
yes, I know, we're busy.
So I foster dogs because I can't let them be killed. So I take them in from kill shelters. And this one came to me because his mom was found like the day before she gave birth. And she gave birth and then she passed right after childbirth. So, tug on my heartstrings. I'm like, sure, I'll take him. Yeah. And then, it's been years since I had a puppy. So I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
That's all right. We will talk until, unless that's okay with you.
I'm happy to talk as long as I keep internet service. That's why I'm trying not to go too far outside my front door.